This is John with Central Classic Cars. This is our first video shoot of the year. We did a whole bunch of videos last year and had a lot of success. We sold almost every single car that we did videos on last year. I mean, what do you think?
Well, if you go back in time, go back to all of our videos. We've sold the bus, we sold the black Porsche. I mean, every one of them so far has practically been sold. So we appreciate all the followers. We thank you so much. I think the videos bring a lot to the table.
Yes.
And
yeah,
we do honest reviews.
So this car is actually going to be showcased on Bring a Trailer. And this is a 1961 Volkswagen Beetle, original Ragtop, that's been totally restored. And we're going to walk through it with you today and kind of tell you the whole story about the car. So we're going to talk about a lot of different pieces to this car. We'll start talking about the paint. We'll go through the engine compartment, talk about the engine, then we'll look at the interior, and then we'll put the car up on the lift and kind of walk through that with everybody.
Perfect.
The paint job on this car is extremely unique. I'm going to call it an olive green metallic tri-coat. I mean, it's got a depth of color to it. Every different angle, you see a different shade of that green, and I think it's really cool. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's really nice.
Yep.
I tell you, somebody has painted. When do you think it's been painted?
I don't have the exact date, but I do believe it's within the last few years because the gentleman we bought it from did a lot of the restoration work on it. He didn't give us all the information on when the body was repainted, but this appears to me to be a fairly recent repaint. Mm-hmm. The chrome, all the fenders were taken off on the paint. You don't see overspray on a whole bunch of different pieces of this car. The chrome accents are in very nice condition. As we walk, kind of looking through the back, there's a few flaws that we'll point out in the photographs. I think on the other side there was a little bit of a touch-up spot.
One little guy here.
Got a little spot here, and again, we'll document all that in the photos for Bring a Trailer. But overall, it presents very, very nicely. As we look at the bumpers on the front and the rear, they've definitely been replaced. They're newer. The chrome shines really nicely. The tires and wheels look great. I mean, any comments on the exterior of the body that you see?
No, it's great. Yeah.
The front windshield, all the glass in the car is. I don't see any rock chips or anything like that. Those are all solid. They've all been replaced. They don't have the original Volkswagen symbols on any of them, so that tells me that most of them appear to me that they've been replaced. Now that we've kind of walked through some of the aesthetics of the car, we'll pop the engine open and take a look under the engine.
All right, so John, we're going to check out the engine now. Most Bugs, Beetles, we have Karmann Gias. Standard is what, the 1600 cc.
Yep.
I know this has been modified, or this is a new engine.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So what do we have in here now?
The 60s models came with the 1200 cc single port engine. This car has had some major modifications to the engine. It's a 1915 cc. Dual carbureted with 2 Weber 54s. The belt has been replaced. Everything in here has been rebuilt. The pistons, the whole 9 yards. We fired this thing up. We had our mechanic inspect the car, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, but definitely changes the sound and the way it runs in a big way.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So, what's the estimate of horsepower, do you think?
I don't know for certain. The original motors were roughly 30, 40 horsepower. This may have 80, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I don't have the exact specs on the horsepower for the motor, but I can tell you it's got a lot more pep than the original.
New exhaust?
New exhaust on it. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get it up on the lift so everybody could take a closer look at it. But
cool.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of your customers have questions like, does the engines run, tops work, electrical, braking? And I know that you have these inspected by a third party.
Yes.
What all do they go over to make sure that the buyer is actually getting exactly what you're selling them?
So we have a third party Leadfoot Customs. He goes through all of our cars. He does a full safety inspection, which we'll include in the documentation for Bring a Trailer. But I'll read a few things off the list. He'll adjust the brakes, especially with these old Volkswagen. He'll adjust the brakes, change the oil, make sure all turn signals, brake lights, headlights are at least in working order at the time. We're not going to put a brand new wiring harness in every car, but we do try to make sure that relays and everything are working at the time of sale. This particular car actually does have a new wiring harness, and I'll just go through a couple notes. We did have to replace the speedometer cable. As I said, we adjusted the brakes, the axle boot, replaced the belt. A couple other notes that he mentions. The horn does not work on this car. That is one thing that is noted on here. The wiring harness, and really that covers it. He goes through a checklist of condition of interior, exterior, under the hood, mechanical, and all those things prior to the sale. So
cool.
I think it brings that extra value to the customer to at least know that there's somebody that's put some eyes on it, that's worked on hundreds of these cars. So
perfect.
We always get questions about the front trunk compartment on these cars, so let's take a quick look and check it out. So I'll take the spare tire out here so we can get a closer look. But Matt, any comments on what you're seeing here?
Well, she's looking clean, right?
Yep. Gas tanks in good condition. Obviously, this has all been painted in here. There's a few chips in the paint. I see a little bit of metal work in here, but it is all metal. I don't see signs of major Bondo work in here. There's obviously certainly been metal replacements. And let's take a little bit closer look in here as well. Very nice and clean. All metal in here. Obviously, this has all been painted to match the exterior of the car. As I mentioned previously, new wiring harness. Tank is in good shape. No signs of leaks or anything like that. Overall, it presents very well. So. So now that we've gone through the body of the car and the exterior, we'll take a look inside. First, I want to take a quick look at this Ragtop. Overall, very good condition. I don't see any tears in the stitching or anything like that. It's a tan against that olive. It has a really distinct look to it. And as I said, very good condition there. Let's take a quick look on the inside here. The paint on the dash ties in very nicely to the exterior. The steering wheel, everything is very clean in here. You've got the tan seats that match the Ragtop as well. The floors have rubber mats in them. The carpet is in great shape. Everything in here ties together very nicely. I get quite a few questions about this. This car obviously no longer has heat in it. The heater channels are sealed off here. Car does have, I don't see any signs of rust in the pans from the looking up from down in this section. The VIN tag is listed right here. It's 4279849, and again, it presents extremely well in the interior of the car. Try to get you as many angles of this thing as I can, but I have to say this car is absolutely spectacular underneath. I don't see any signs of rust whatsoever. The engine and drivetrain are in great shape. It's got drum brakes in the rear. Axles are in good shape. Everything under here is just, in terms of the actual structure of the body, we'll get you some photographs here, but very solid. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Please check out our website, centralclassiccars.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got so much awesome content with weekly updates on some of our inventory, and also add us on Facebook.